Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's Sunday now. We have a couple of stories to go over. The main one's going to be on Core Scientific making a deal with Bitmain again. Then we have Cleanspark providing us with an update on their hash rate. We also have Mawson providing their update for August. It's kind of late. We're almost at the end of September here, but nonetheless, we do have it, so we'll go over it. And then we also we'll take a look at the miners, see how much they're getting shorted as of the latest data. And then we'll just take a look at Bitcoin and the Bitcoin network as well, see what's going on there. We peaked a new daily high in Bitcoin network last week, a couple of days ago. So we'll take a look at what's going on there as well. And we'll call it a day. Okay, so it should be pretty easy here. As always, not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what we have here with Bitmain and Core Scientific. So Bitmain to invest $54 million in Core Scientific Inc. as part of a new supply contract. And we've talked about this here a little bit, but the new part of it is Bitmain is going to be providing miners to be hosted by basically Core Scientific here. So today announced Bitmain, the world's leading manufacturer of digital currency mining servers, has agreed to invest $53.9 million in the company, expanding the two companies' long-standing relationship. So this is actually really good. Bitmain and Core Scientific have agreed on a combination of equity and cash to finance the purchase of new and more efficient Bitcoin mining equipment. So we've talked about this in the past. Separately, this is the new part here. Bitmain has executed a new hosting agreement with Core Scientific to support Bitmain's mining business. So this is obviously good for Core Scientific. Under the terms of the purchase agreement, Bitmain will supply Core Scientific with 27,000 of the S19 XPs, 151 terahash Bitcoin mining servers in exchange for $23 million in cash and $53.9 million in Core Scientific common stock at per share value that will be determined in accordance with the bankruptcy court approved Chapter 11 plan of reorganization, the approval of which is expected during the fourth quarter of this year. They're saying it's maybe at the end of October possibly that this might go through. So that's good news. And then obviously the company plans to receive and energize the 27,000 units in the fourth quarter as well, adding a potential 4.1 exahash to its self-mining hash rate, which would be good because that would get them, I think they're at 17 right now. Let's take a look at where they are right now. Where's Core? Core right now is at 15, so another 4. That would get them close to 19 exahash, which would be really good for them. That would definitely increase their Bitcoin production here, as it has been sliding down in the last couple months here, as their network hash rate, or their network hash rate, has stayed the same, while the Bitcoin network hash rate has been increasing, thus leading to produce less Bitcoin each month going forward. They also gave back some miners or sold them to pay off some debt. So this would obviously be a good reversal for them, especially as they get out of the bankruptcy here. Okay, so that's that one. So we've covered that one pretty good. And I think this is actually really good news here. So we'll just have to see how much shareholders get diluted at the end of the bankruptcy here. Next is Cleanspark. So efficiency is key for Cleanspark. They've stated here, we officially reached a hash rate of 9.5 exahash thanks to software and Bitcoin miner upgrades. Optimizing our fleet to get the best results possible is crucial while we continue our expansion in Sandersville, Georgia, and lock in our position for the halving it. So 9.5 is obviously pretty good here. They're at 9.2 right now, I think, by memory, 9.3. So at 9.3 right now, that gets them another 200 petahash, and that's based on, well, possibly swapping out some of the older miners here. They don't have a lot of those, but they do have some here. If we look at the numbers that we have here, as far as the older ones, I'm guessing these are probably going to be getting out the 95, 98, 96 terahash. Miners are going to be exchanged as well as the 86 here. So they might have swapped some of those out here recently and just put in some of the newer miners that they're supposed to get in anyways to help with that. But we don't know. They didn't provide that information, so maybe we'll get that information when they do provide it for the September update here in early October. Okay, but nonetheless, this is good. They continue to grow here. And we've seen them definitely grow here over the last year, where last year they were at 3.4 exahash in August, and they've obviously grown to 9.3, well, and then 9.5 here in September. So definitely, what is that going to be, about 3x almost growth here in the last year, which is really good. And obviously, it's going to generate more revenue for them, especially as they get closer to the halving event, which once they get to the full 16 exahash that they want to get to, will definitely be a big, well, it'll be good for them. Right. Okay. So just want to point that out to you guys here. And let's take a look at Mawson here really quick. Mawson, I have some concerns with Mawson here going forward. They're not growing as fast as they should be. They're always like one of the last ones to provide operational updates for the prior months, which you would think that they would provide as much information as they can to appease the minds of investors. And possibly shed some good light. But it doesn't seem like there's much of a good light here. There is some here as well, but let's get into it here and we'll discuss it as it is. So Mawson Infrastructure Group Inc. announces monthly operational update for August 2023. Here's what we have on them. Self-mining Bitcoin production increased 27% month over month to 88 Bitcoin and set a new operational performance record for the company's Pennsylvania sites. So that's good there. Total self-miners hashing at the end of August increased 8% month over month to approximately 15,600. I don't know if this is just what they had running here based on curtailing or anything else. They don't provide as far as hash rate numbers, what their actual hash rate is, which is unfortunate. They also don't provide what their hodl position is, which I believe they don't hodl anything anyways, so that's not a big deal there. But it would be nice to know what their exahash is installed and operational, not what the average is or anything like that. Okay, so I'm going with what I had here at the prior month because it was still, well, they didn't provide any updates, so that's kind of where I'm at. Self-mining monthly revenue increased 18% to 2.44 million, which is good, obviously. Hosting co-location monthly revenue declined as expected to 1.29 million. They did state in previous press releases that their customer is moving on or moving out, and that they have about, 15 megawatts or something like that to make available to new customers. And they do provide here, excuse me, some information on that as well. Energy market program monthly revenue was approximately 0.14, so 140,000 roughly. Total power capacity was approximately 109 megawatt with capacity for nearly 32,000 miners. And then here we go. So as previously announced, the co-location agreement with the company's hosting customer ended on August 23rd, and the company ceased operating the customer's miners. The company currently has approximately 15 megawatts of capacity that could be offered for co-location and hosting services, and the company is seeing interest from several potential new co-location and hosting customers. So that's good there, right? But they definitely need to grow some more here. And let me see here. I think that was it. Yeah. Nothing else being added here to them or anything like that. So let's just take a look at the numbers that we do have for them in my spreadsheet. And we'll take a look at the miners that are getting shorted here recently. So if we look at Mawson, let's see. Mawson's going to be way over here. There's Marathon, Mawson. There we go. So Mawson has about 16.5 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at 65 cents. Market cap is at 10 million, right? That's pretty low. They're currently at 1.46 exahash is what I have them at. The future hash rate is supposed to be 1.79, so not a lot of growth left there. I would almost prefer them to see if they can get a loan for the short term being or something like that, where they can install some more miners, buy some miners. I'm surprised they didn't buy the miners from the hosting customer that they had, or unless those miners were pretty old. The miners that they do have currently also are pretty old. We'll take a look at that down below here. But here's what we have as far as BTC production. It has been improving here ever since December of last year. It's still not all the way up to where it was last year in August, which was 90, but it has been improving, so that's good. They're at 88, obviously, in August. You can take a look at the month-over-month difference here. BTC hodl, they don't hodl anything. BTC per exahash efficiency has improved here as well from the prior month of July, which is good, meaning they were operating for more than, well, basically operating more days out of the month here. BTC sold, they sold pretty much everything that they have here. And then as far as their hash rate here, it has improved here since the beginning of the year, but it still has to improve a lot more going forward. The revenue has also been improving as well. They're generated 2.45 million, which is the highest that they've had here in the last 12 months, basically, which is good on that part. Hash rate difference, you can take a look at how that has changed over the month to month. And then let's see here, what do we have here? We got BTC sold value, basically sold everything that they mine. As far as the financial side of things, you can see the last 4 quarters revenue here, last 4 quarter operating cost as well. Cost to mine 1 Bitcoin is way up there. It's at 18.45 thousand. Bitcoin mined quarterly, you can see that as well has been improving. Debt to equity is under 1, which is good, but current ratio is also at 0.32, so that's not good there. When we look at their total current assets, it's at 15.6 million as of Q2, and the total current liabilities at 47.89 million. So pretty much was that 3 times that of what they have in current assets. So that's why it's a concern there. Their fleet is also a concern as well, but we'll get into that here down below. And then as far as institutions are concerned, institutions did increase along with the number of shares. The percentage also increased to 12.65, which is good. We now have 1 buy rating, 1 hold rating, 0 underperforms, 0 sells, and the price targets actually came down to $3 for the high, $2 for the average, and $1 for the low, which is more in line with where I have them at. Prior to that, they had about $12 and $7.50. I was like, that's kind of outrageous there for them, especially with the hash rate that they have right now, some of the debt and everything else. I didn't think that was doable, at least not yet. But here's what I have for them. Looking at the last 3 quarters and the current quarter that we're in, which is an estimated quarter, and a P of 5, I have a $2.52 to $3.78. They're at 65 cents. They're undervalued, but there's a reason why they're undervalued, right? A lot of debt, not a lot of cash, current assets to pay off that debt. Their hash rate has been low, has been kind of stagnant as well. And they lost, well, looks like they lost probably their biggest hosting customer as well. So that doesn't help out either. Okay. Here's the monthly data that we have on them. And then as far as their miners here, their miners are relatively old here. They got a lot of 90 terahash miners. Those are not going to be as efficient as some of the newer 100, 140 terahash miners that are out there. And they got some 85 terahash as well. They're going to have a hard time here when it comes to the halving event, being at 31.64 joules per terahash on average over their fleet. You want to be at least 30 and below that number. I think that's going to be key number to watch for the miners to be able to get below that. Because once the halving event happens, you're going to get cut. Well, your production is going to get cut in half regardless. And the more efficient you can be, the better, because the price of electricity basically is going to, the cost to mine one Bitcoin is going to double on you, just basically overnight. So that doesn't bode well for them. And then as far as how many days they were operational in August here, it looks like they were up 25.78 days to get to the 2.45 million, which is what I have them at for the Bitcoin average price in August. Okay, so that is an improvement definitely over what they had in July, which was only 19.68 days. And possibly because the month of August was a little bit maybe cooler up towards Pennsylvania, which helped them out. And then going into the wintertime, that should also help them out. But like I said, they probably need to get these miners changed out, exchanged, bring in new miners like the 150 terahash XPs or something like that are more efficient to help them going forward. Plus, with the network hash rate increasing, this does not bode well. You can see that they're only making $5.39 right now on some of these miners, $5.09. That's all in. That's not including electricity in that at all. And then when that gets cut in half, it's going to be only, well, like $2 or something like that, depending where Bitcoin price is and everything else. Okay, so that's it for Mawson. Let me know what you guys think of them. Like I said, I think they are undervalued, but there's reasons for it. And until we actually hear some good news from them, they're buying miners or something like that, I would unfortunately stay away from them until that happens, possibly, depending where they're going to be growing. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of that one. And then let's get into the miners that are being shorted right now. And that is, let's see here, where do we have that? I got too many tabs. The dilution, don't care about dilution. We're shorted. Let's see here, terrible, stronghold, shorted, there it is. Okay, sorry, got too many sheets open. So in this one, we'll take a look at how much of the shares are being shorted for each company. Some information is omitted. One of the ones that are omitted, we'll take a look at. But here's what we have right now. Current number of shares shorted, percentage of shares shorted, and then the value of shares shorted compared to the market cap of each company. And then we also have the difference from last time. So Marathon, obviously you can see here on the chart on the left one is at 51 million shares being shorted. That's obviously the most, and it's also the most based on percentage of shares out there. And I did increase Marathon shares to the 2,205 million, I think, after their 31 million dilution to pay off 400 some odd million of debt. So that's being included in there as well. And then you got Riot is number 2 as far as the amount being shorted here at 30.6 million, with 16.54% of the shares being shorted, followed by BitDigital at 12.98. Then you got TeraWolf at 8.96, Cleanspark at 6.48, Hut at 6.39, Cypher at 4.9, Hive at 4.4, Bitfarms at 2.4, Iris at 0.92, Sphere at 0.85, Mawson 0.46, DigiHost 0.34, Argo 0.12, and you got DMG and Core. No data on those guys, at least not yet on them. Okay. And then when we look at obviously the value of the shares shorted here, you can see that Marathon and Riot have almost 1.7 billion in market cap, a little bit above that, and some of the other ones here as well, and how that all stacks up on this chart here. So you guys can take a look at that. I'm not going to go over it. Next is the difference from last time. So last time we checked, it was about a month and a half ago or so on the shorted information here. And we can see here that Marathon, actually, the shorts increased by 9.47 million in shares being shorted. Riot also increased by 2.3. BitDigital increased by 1.8. TerraWolf increased quite a bit here, 9.5 million. For them, that's quite a big jump. Cleanspark was actually down 1.4 million. Hut 8 was up 1.6 million. Cypher up 3.4 roughly. Hive was down 1.3, almost 1.4 million. Bitfarms is up 555,000. Iris was down 608,000. Sphere was down 151,000. Mawson was actually up 6,337. Then we got DigiHost was down 162,000. Argo was down 611,000. DMG was down 289,000 shares shorted. So that is the way things stack up right now. Marathon obviously has been shorted the most here for quite a while, and that's mainly because of the cost for them to mine Bitcoin, because they do have all their machines being hosted, so that costs them more. And then obviously the debt that they had on there, so maybe that will kind of help maybe drive some of the shorts down. We'll have to see in the next time we do this. But here's all the data here, and as you can see here, currently I don't have any data on DMG or Core Scientific. The program that I use for that didn't display it, so we have what we have, and we'll just go with what we do have, okay? Obviously, with TerraWolf being a big jump up there, TerraWolf is doing really good as far as growth-wise, but here's the problem with TerraWolf. Their total current assets is only 14.3 million. Their current debt or liabilities is at 81 million. So that's a big concern, and that's basically, what is that, almost a 5x difference from it. So they definitely need to pay the debt down before the halving event, and that may be why they are being shorted the way that they are, okay? Somebody else here, let's take a look at somebody else here as well. Who else do we have here? Hut 8 obviously increased here as well, not too much, but they're going to be merging with USBTC here by the end of the month, possibly. Hive is down as well, which was good. So we got kind of a mixed bag here as far as miners being down and miners being up on it. But it is what it is. You guys can take a look at the charts here. I'll also probably get these updated or uploaded to Twitter and then to the YouTube members. And obviously my Patreon members will get this spreadsheet as well. So that will be happening later on today. Also, just a note that the price for membership for Patreon is going to be going up from $4 to $5, which is about the price of a coffee per month. That's all you pay on it. And there's also, I believe, a deal if you pay for the full year, you get a 10% discount on it. Okay, so that's out there. So that's going to be increasing here at the end of the month. Just wanted to point that out to you guys. And I think that is it for this one. Let's take a look at what's going on with the network hash rate on Bitcoin and then Bitcoin itself. See what's going on there. So as you can see here, we've obviously started, well, at the end of December, we were right around, let's see here, November, December, at the end of December, we actually went down pretty low because Bitcoin price came down quite a bit as well. So we were at 156, basically exahash on the network hash rate, and this is on the one-day average. And we've come all the way up to a peak here. This was just back on the 14th of September, 506 exahash. That's a huge increase, obviously, from where we were just a little less than 9 months ago on it. So it's basically, was at 3x roughly of an increase. That's huge, right? It's a huge increase that we've seen. Majority of that came in during the first half of the year, and then later on we've kind of been trading. The network hash rate has maintained somewhat flatlined, going sideways here with some peaks and valleys and things like that, but overall it's staying right around the peak-wise at around 440 exahash. But obviously we've seen this huge increase here as well. That's going to have an impact, obviously, on the miners, because the network hash rate going up is going to generate less Bitcoin for everybody else to get into it, okay, or get it. So that's obviously interesting. And usually the Bitcoin price has kept up with the network hash rate, which we saw obviously in the beginning of the year, but we've kind of flatlined a little bit here towards the last couple months. And we've also seen that kind of in the Bitcoin price. So I wonder if we're seeing another increase here with the network hash rate going up, if that's going to have an impact also on the price of Bitcoin as well. All right, but that's how we're looking at that. I usually use the data, either the 7-day average that kind of smooths things out a little bit instead of the daily peaks and valleys and highs and lows, or I'll use at the end for the monthly information, I'll use the 30-day average, and you can see how that has obviously went way up here Whereas in December, at the end of December, we were at, on average, 245 exahash. And then right now we are at 395. So basically another 150 exahash being installed right during that time frame this past 9 months or so. So that's, we got to keep an eye on that, see how that goes forward, and then we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, let's take a look at the Bitcoin, see what's going on with it. Bitcoin has been trading sideways here for the last couple of days. We had obviously the Fed meeting here that happened last Wednesday. That resulted in the Fed halting rates, increases in rates, but obviously Bitcoin still went down. The markets went down because of other fears as well. And then the last 3 days here, Bitcoin has been trading right at the 20-day moving average here. And it doesn't seem like it has any real direction as far as which way it wants to go. With that being said, if we look at the 4-hour chart as well, we can see that the RSI has been flat. Price has been flat as well. We did have a little dip here below the 20-day moving average here. We're trying to get back up above it today as it is. And looking at, I mean, I really don't see a direction as far as which way it goes. So I think Monday might be a little bit more telling. We can see here that we peaked on the 1-hour chart as well, and then we dipped below as well. And the RSI came down quite a bit here. And if we look at the RSI where it's at right now, last time it was back here. At that point, price was actually a little bit higher on it. So it looks like we might be coming down a little bit, at least on the short time frame. The longer time frames, a little harder to tell as far as where we're going to go. Bitcoin still is on the 4-hour chart at least. If we look at the back here, we're much lower on it, so we are higher in price on that point, so we might continue to go up on it. But we definitely have to battle with the 200 daily moving lines, the 50 daily moving lines as well. Those are right there. And then the weekly 200 daily moving line as well. See if we can get above that going forward, because that has always acted as, well, historically has acted as support for us and a way to bounce off of it. But we've been below it here for quite a bit of time here in 2022. Right, we fell below it and we stayed below it, and then we did the same thing. We did a little dip here as well on it. So we'll see what happens going forward into this week. I don't expect a lot of news here this coming week, so I'll try to provide you guys with updates when they do happen. Otherwise, don't count on a video being out, because I'll work on other things that I can work on, like the EVs, and I'm also doing some other work. So that'll be all coming out as well for you guys. So I'll keep you guys updated when things do happen. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. One other thing to note here is yesterday I did a video with Bryce McNally and Anthony Powers from, Anthony Powers from overseas, but we did a video that was really interesting where we talked about obviously curtailment credits and how that all works into evaluating the companies like like Riot and others as well. We talked about other topics as well, so that is going to be a really interesting video for you guys to check out. That should be coming out on Bryce McNally's channel in the next couple of days, I'm guessing. Once he lets me know when that's going to be going live, I'll let you guys know as well. But stay tuned for that on Bryce McNally's McNally Money channel for that. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful week ahead, and we'll see where we go. All right, until then, bye.